Thank you again, Colonel. Okay, and now I would like to call up Lillian Castro and Alina Cabrero. And we would like to honor Captain Joseph Matthews, retired.
Timmy, this still has that track. All right.
Good evening, everyone. This man, Captain Peter Joseph Matthews, was born in the Bronx to an Irish-American family. Sorry. Okay. Captain graduated from the Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx and joined the Marine Corps shortly after, right after high school, as a private. Worked his way up the ranks and became an officer. Captain went also. He did a 2-year tour of Vietnam, so he's also a veteran. Captain then, after he finished the Marine Corps, he signed on. He did law school first, and then he signed on to become an JROTC instructor alongside with Colonel Duggan. And he worked with Colonel Duggan for 17 years. This is very emotional for me because, sorry. He worked with Colonel for nearly 2 decades of tireless service to the team. He instilled virtue and honor, integrity, leadership, and social responsibility to the cadets. He would have liked all of us to think that he was just doing his job. But this man right here, one time jumped across a room, pushed people out of the way, and gave mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to a student who needed help in the middle of the AIDS epidemic. A person who's just doing their job would not do that. This man did that and so much more for us. He showed us, I'm sorry, Captain, with his tell-it-how-it-is attitude, showed us how to take criticism to our advantage. He showed us to take the negative and turn it into a positive. He showed us to turn something that we weren't good at something. Well, we simply just had to find a way to perfect it. He never let us fail and never let us give up. He gave up his weekends to chaperone a bunch of teenagers from Yonkers and take us to drill competitions, to parades, and many other community activities. In the 90s, he gave up an entire week to take the drill team to the Nationals in Daytona Beach. And we also went on Sundays to Universal Studios or, you know, Universal Studios or Disney. Sorry. This man showed us how to walk with a lean back and stride on the heels. Despite how high the climb is, he showed us how to just do it. Walk with pride and you'll be able to do whatever it is that you need to do. I asked Captain a few days ago, why did he do it so long? And his response to me was, after a few minutes of thinking, I was fulfilled. Fulfillment is ours, sir. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your influence. And most of all, thank you for showing us to believe in ourselves. We love you. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Captain Matthews, on behalf of the 1979 through 1999 class of JROTC Union, we'd like to present you this plaque, which reads, with your tough, caring manner, you gave each student the structure, the discipline, and the drive to become better individuals. Thank you for teaching us to believe in ourselves. We will carry you in our hearts forever.
And I do have to make one comment. My presenters were better looking. Unlike the classroom where I was prepared, I'm not prepared for this tonight. You're going to hear it one time only. Remember it. I love you.
And we will now be honoring Sergeant Major Steve Garcia, retired.
All right.
There are people in our lives that cross our paths and make an impact. Sometimes they even change our lives, and motivate us to do more. They may be in our lives for a short time, or they may stay with us forever. But there are those who inspire us to go beyond our own self-imposed limitations. Sergeant Major Steven Garcia is one of those unique people. He's an instructor at the Marine Corps Junior ROTC program in Yonkers High School from 1982 through 1984. He personified pride, strength, and leadership. Sergeant Major Garcia is one of those persons who knows not of the words, "I can't," or "it's too hard." He would never allow you to let yourself down. But he wasn't always about discipline. Believe it or not, there was a lighter side of him. He cared for his cadets and served not only as a role model, but also as a friend and a mentor. He not only devoted long hours teaching us precise drill movements that helped us win many drill competitions, but he also instilled in us what it is to be a United States Marine. He reminded us all that those who have carried the title Marine and the sacrifices they made for us. He taught us the meaning of teamwork. Sergeant Major Garcia had the ability to motivate you to do extraordinary things. For example, during our field trip to Cherry Point, North Carolina in 1984, he invited, not ordered, cadets for a 10-mile run right before we went on leave. Many of us volunteered, including Timmy Brown and Enrique Gonzalez, who are here with us today. Why a teenager would volunteer to run 10 miles right before going on leave beats me. Well, that was the influence he had on many cadets. He gave us the motivation to do more. Sergeant Major Steven Garcia is the epitome of what it is to be a Marine. But he was more than that. He was a teacher, mentor, leader, and a role model. Sergeant Major, would you please accept our deepest and sincere gratitude? And as a small token of our appreciation, we, the cadets of the Marine Corps Junior ROTC, proudly present you with this plaque.
Presented to Sergeant Major Steve Garcia, in grateful appreciation for all the support you gave the Yonkers MCJROTC program. We will forever be grateful.
Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say a few words about the Colonel as well. Sir, you had a big influence on my career as well. When I first came into the Junior ROTC program, I was in the reserve unit. I was working at a post office, and I wanted to get back on active duty, and they posted the job as available. I went to see a young captain at the district headquarters who interviewed me. I call him a young captain because I was 27, and he was probably about 26, so he was a young captain to me over there. He interviewed me. He said, "You have to go up and you have to see the Colonel. You have to get interviewed by the Colonel." So we did. We got in the car, we drove to Yonkers High School. I met the Colonel. The Colonel eyeballed me. He sat down, he interviewed me, he grilled me. And then when we were done, I stepped out in the classroom, and Captain Soule asked him, "So what do you think, Colonel?" And the Colonel gave me his highest endorsement. He said, "He'll do it." And I got the job. Well, not only did you all learn many things from the Colonel, but sir, I learned a tremendous amount from you, and my success in the Marine Corps and becoming Marine Sergeant Major is in large part due to the things that I learned from you. We had a small office with a IBM typewriter. It wasn't even a Selectric 1. It was an IBM typewriter. Our entire course materials were done with magic markers and a ditto machine. Anybody who knows what a ditto machine is? And we went from there. And I learned from the Colonel how to write. I learned from the Colonel how to do supply, how to do inventories, and then we actually had real rifles at the time that we shot. And he also told me, well, you need to coach the rifle team too. And we have marksmanship team members in here tonight, I'm sure. And we did. We went out and we shot them. One time he wanted to teach a class on Marine Corps weapons and things. He said, well, Garcia, we need some weapons for this. I said, okay, sir. I went out to the armory, at the reserve unit. I got a couple of machine guns, some M16s. We brought them up to the school. Imagine that nowadays.
You get shot.
I backed my car up to the school, my old 1972 Cutlass with the trunk rusted out, popped it open, and started unloaded machine guns, M16s, .42s, and brought them up into class, and we went on from there to teach the lessons. That would never happen today. We would never be able to shoot the weapons today that we did. But the colonel never said you can't do it. The colonel said make it happen, and I had to find a way to do it. And that lesson, sir, stayed with me as well, as I'm sure it stayed with many of you and made you successful today. As far as all the students, many of you don't know me here because I wasn't there that long, but the ones that were here, I thought about you very often. I thought about you all very often. You know, when I was out training, when I was running uphill 3 miles so I could run back downhill 3 miles, I thought about you. You know, when I was out in the field overnight, sleeping in the cold, I thought about you. When I was in Gyeongchang, Korea, sleeping in a little tent in the middle of the winter, I thought about you. When I was in Kuwait, sweating, I thought about you. When I was in Iraq, hiding behind a building after an IED had hit our patrol, I thought about you all. And I wondered one thing. All those times I thought about all the students that I had. I wondered if any of you ever thought of me, and you've answered that question for me tonight, and I thank you very much.